years ago, I used to deliver a project called Life and Work. And I remember my son, during COVID, and we were at home, and he just said, Mom, you could turn this into a video, a podcast. I didn't even know what a podcast was, to be honest with you. And I said, nah, I can't do that. I'm not very good. But then we started, and you know the guy behind the scenes always like telling me often, saying, you can do this, you can. And it has grown, it has evolved. A lot of the families we work with don't have their voices heard. They have voices, but they're not heard. And I've been in that category before where I just shy away, I'm not talking. But we have so much that we need to let out there. And this is one creative way of telling our stories.
So what were some of the behind the scenes challenges or lessons you experienced this year that listeners would not be aware of? Dangerous question.
Oh, it's dangerous, but I wear a lot of caps. You know that. I wear. But one of the things that I've learned is that regardless, you've got to be consistent. There are many times I felt, I don't want to do this anymore. But the consistency has been very important.
So, welcome, Margaret.
Thank you. This is going to be interesting.
Tales unfold through voices strong, stories told, connections formed. We find our place, echoes of our community.
Hello and welcome to Echoes of Our Community. I know you're looking at me wondering, you don't look like Margaret, but today we're just going to have an overview of the podcast, and I have the special privilege of interviewing Margaret. So in today's podcast, we will be looking at 2025. So welcome, Margaret.
Thank you. This is going to be interesting.
I want to say thank you for giving me the privilege and honor of interviewing such an amazing woman in the community.
I'm blushing.
This woman, you're a powerhouse. You've been awarded many things. You've done many things. So should I say our first question today would be, how did the vision of Echoes of Community birth itself? What was the seed that was planted in your heart that made you want to do this podcast?
Oh, thank you so much. And I'm on the receiving end today, isn't it?
Yes, you are.
Thank you so much. I think it didn't start out as Echoes of Our Community. It started out as just like from COVID, starting from COVID, answering or looking at different topics that could actually impact on communities, on parents, because years ago, I used to deliver a project called Life and Work. And I remember my son, during COVID, and we were at home, and he just said, Mom, you could turn this into a video, a podcast. I didn't even know what a podcast was, to be honest with you. And I said, nah, I can't do that. I'm not very good. But then we started, and you know the guy behind the scenes always like telling me often, saying, you can do this, you can. And it has grown, it has evolved from year to year, month to month, topic to topic. And then it became Me with Margaret. And then from Me with Margaret, it became, just looking at the topics. And now we have Echoes of Our Community. And I'm grateful that that subject or that theme has become real, because it is about listening. It is about hearing what our communities are saying, whether they be young people, whether they're parents, whether they're community leaders, whoever they are. It's about our community. And that is where it started from. So it has evolved over the years. And I'm grateful that in 2025, it is now Echoes of Our Community.
Oh, thank you for sharing that. And the reason why I've asked this question is because many times people see things appear, whether they're podcasts or businesses, and they never really understand the vision behind the visionary. So I thought it was important that we asked that question, that you shared with the audience today, why Echoes of Our Community ended up being what it is.
And I can also add that we do not listen. I think it's come up so many times that listening to our communities in different ways. In fact, I think we're trying to be more creative in how we listen and how we sell that voice, bring that voice to life. A lot of the families we work with don't have their voices heard. They have voices, but they're not heard. And I've been in that category before where I just shy away. I'm not talking. But we have so much that we need to let out there. And this is one creative way of telling our stories. So yes, I'm excited about that.
Good. So our second question for tonight, or should I say for today's episode, looking back on 2025, what moments or conversations had the greatest impact on you?
You know what? I thought about that, but there've been all of them have in their in different ways, because I remember the conversation with Councillor Shitu, and the reason why I'm bringing that up is that I've been challenged so many times years and years ago about, in fact, from externally, people in-house, people jokingly call me mayor. I said, I'm not into politics. I don't even want to know what that is. But there's a way this man spoke about it and his journey that resonated in me. That actually, what we are doing is that we're reaching our community. What we are doing is about making a change and making that impact. So that actually strengthened me from within. Another one that did touch me a lot was listening to the story of Iyanoluwa in terms of her story about dropping out of uni and the need to listen, the need to the mental health issues that our young people go through. That really touched me. In fact, it was a bit of I finished that podcast and I went back home reflecting about a lot of our young people that are, I don't want to say forced, but it's expected that they go to uni, regardless, because it's a cultural thing. Why wouldn't you go to uni? It's like, it's unheard of. And then because she wanted to please the system, she wanted to do what everybody else was doing, she was comparing herself, she went to uni, and it didn't work out. But there's also hope at that as well. And I'm actually glad to say that she's in a better place now. So that really touched me. And I also like the story of, what's her name now? Oh, this young lady with dyslexia and her mom, about Agnes's daughter. And wow, the courage and the resilience, and as a young child, telling that story, helping other young people, young children, and helping parents understand that they're not alone. I think that was powerful as well. But even the one that I even heard most was the one about knife crime. That touched me. Yeah. And that actually has brought out a lot in me, and the work I've done and meeting other community leaders about what we need to do in the future in terms of how we bridge the gap between the police and young people. What can we do creatively to make sure that the trust is built? That it was because of that podcast that conversation came about. Yeah. So all of them actually.
and it's true. I mean, obviously our viewers know that I've also been on these podcasts with you, and every podcast example that you've given, I also attest to the transformation. It makes you reflect differently and approach the nature of our work in our different spheres differently because of a new level of understanding, right? And also the fact that culturally there were expectations that you and I both share, we understand, and has been our lived experience, but our children's generation and generations after them are experiencing things totally differently. And the fact that we have to have a paradigm shift.
Yes. Yeah. We've got to. I think we shared that before. I think we said learning, unlearning, relearning, and changing, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So how has engaging with diverse voices throughout the year shaped your leadership in understanding your community's evolving needs and strengths?
That's a mouthful, isn't it?
It is.
For me, it has impacted. Like I said, it's helped me look deeply into the work I do, into the relationships I'm creating, into the partnerships I'm creating. So I'm working on a number of partnerships at the moment, whereby we're looking at alternative health systems, how we can actually say, look, what we are getting from the system traditionally doesn't always work. So we're looking at what can be done differently, because we've also recognized that the community holds the power.
Yes.
Do we listen enough to say, let's do this together, instead of saying it's top down? Are we only taking what we're being given? So that is that's a journey I'm on at the moment. I'm also working with it. I'm working intergenerationally as well, working with the elders in the community to say, yes, we've been doing things, or this is the way we used to do things. How can we bridge the gap between the young and the not so young to make sure that we are listened to, we are working together, we are telling our stories, and we are supporting our mental health and our well-being. So that's another journey, and there's so much. I'm part of different projects, programs, looking at how we do. In fact, one of my, as well, My Child and Me is one of the biggest one. I'm so proud of that project. It's one of the ones that, when it was born, when it was birthed, it's like I didn't know where it was going. But right now, especially through listening to the voices on this podcast, I now know that it's how it impacts on how we provide this service, looking at mental health through culture, working with young people, working with parents, working with carers, and also working with elders to make sure that we are not just reacting, we're actually preventing mental health from issues escalating. And so that is being on this has helped me think about that a lot.
And I want to drill down a bit more, because you, as always, in your humble way, you always generalize everything that you do, but Parent Skills to Go is one of your flagship projects. And it's been a project where I've been on, and whereby the parents, you talk about intergenerational group that has come about that you work with, but that was birthed through My Child and Me. Yeah. So just give us for those people that our audience that don't really know about
My Child and Me.
My Child and Me, just give us an overview, some insight about that project, what it has done, how even Echoes of Our Community has even re-informed and helped you have these collaborations that you've been talking about.
Wow. My Child and Me. So we look at different elements to us as parents, carers, and young people. The idea behind it is that we know that parents are powerful. We are powerful, but sometimes you have to look at the culture, your culture, what is good, what is bad, what is relevant, and celebrate it, but also celebrate it in such a way it doesn't erode on the dominant culture, but how can you bridge the gap? But one of the things we realize is that because we're not doing that, and then our children are brought up in a different culture, there's conflict. Yes, definitely. So our young people are struggling. Our young people don't talk to their parents, or parents don't talk to their children, or even if we do talk to our children, it is done in such a way that is not as helpful as it could be. And this actually impacts on the mental well-being of our children, where children tend to shy away, they shut themselves away, they don't talk to their parents, they actually talk to somebody else out there. That is where grooming comes in, that is where children get excluded from school, that is where they get they get into the criminal justice system, and they have to, which is such a sad thing, which could be prevented. But we're trying to say, it's not just about the young people. It's about how do we involve their parents? Yes. How do we support their parents? How do we value their parents to get them to understand that they're not alone, that it's something that we could do together, but we use the cultural lens to look at that. So we look at where they've come from and celebrate that, but also saying, is that relevant in the current culture or the current climate that we are? Where does that help our children? So that just summarizes what it is, and it is massive. So we have a generic My Child and Me. We have a 6 weeks My Child and Me that focuses on teenagers and adolescents, where teenagers, their brains, you know how they are and how they develop. How do we get parents to understand that and support them? And then we have the one for the elders, whereby they say we want to have a second chance. Can you let's do this at least once a month so that we can support our grandchildren. So that's I think I summarized it. Right?
You have. And you see, audience, what I mean by Margaret being humble but so powerful. She does so much, and it has impacted the community. And the fact that even going back again to the generational community, the intergenerational community, I have seen the birth of that, witnessed the birth of that, where there were grandparents that were attending on those sessions that felt that, wow, is this what our children were going through? If only I knew, but now I'm going to help my grandchildren.
And some of them, they're helping their grandchildren, but they're also now advocates for the one we do online. And in fact, the last one, she got everybody from her church community online. It was powerful. And and the last one we just did, I think the parent that said, I need my mom to come on this as well, because her mom does support her and her daughter, but she wants her mom on it as well. So it is very, very much intergenerational.
Wow, what an impact. So what were some of the behind-the-scenes challenges or lessons you experienced this year that listeners would not be aware of? Dangerous question.
It's dangerous, but I think it's true. I think it's important that...
And before you talk, I want to put that into more context, because everybody sees the smiling, the beautiful Margaret Taribo, but they don't understand the intenseness of and level of work that you have to put into this podcast, the work that you do with Parents Skills to Go, the partnerships that you have. So just give us a little bit of insight into that. I wear a lot of caps, you know that, but because this is a baby that, and I'm thankful, I'm grateful for the support I've had from yourself, from Michael, from Bolaji, from everybody that has worked with me, because one of the things that I've learned is that regardless, you've got to be consistent. There are many times I felt, I don't want to do this anymore, but the consistency has been very important. So I think it's about getting the right topics, getting the right people. A lot of people have said they want to come on board. I have to now really think about, is that what, especially, I think one of the podcasts we just had is saying, responding to the need of the community. Is it what people want to hear? And if they want to hear, how do I do that content in such a way? How do we interview in such a way? So I've had to learn, and it's been a journey for me, because sometimes I don't even know, what am I going to be asking? How am I going to be asking that? So it's all that preparation. So you don't know whether you've got the content, you don't know whether, and then sometimes people are not able to come on. They promised, you prepare for it, and it doesn't happen. That's one of the challenges. So but what about funding? Because funding is another aspect.
It's something that I've just had to do myself for now, but I'm hoping that people will come on board to say, we believe in you, we want to invest in you. And also about how we share, how we like, how we comment. I do get a lot of comments, but that's through my WhatsApp. But it would be nice to hear people even comment on the channel itself. It would be nice to hear people share a bit more, comment a bit more, because that will actually help me improve. And that's what, I think those are some of the challenges. Funding that is always, it will always be. And need more of that.
Yes.
But because we believe in it, we just got to do it.
So audience, please like, share and comment and subscribe.
And subscribe.
Thank you.
We need to hear more. I love the comments. I want to appreciate everybody that has commented. The powerful comments but I really need to hear more from them.
And I believe you will be honored. I'm looking at everybody. Please do. So as we approach the end of 2025, what themes or shifts within the community do you believe will carry most significance or had carried most significance that you'll bring forward to 2026?
I think in carrying that forward into it will be most of the things in terms of our leadership roles. I think we're going to be looking at how professionals that is, because if as a professional, as a leader, as a community leader, you have the power, how do we share that power? The power dynamics where families, communities can depend, can trust it and want to carry that forward. Also getting our young people to be more vocal in what they believe in and how they see things, so that the elders, so that they can understand where the next generation is coming from and thinking about legacy. But also very, very importantly is about the inequalities in terms of mental health, in terms of well-being, in terms of education. We need to take that forward, because if we're talking about a community, a society that needs to flourish and thrive, these are the kind of topics that we want. But you might have more. If anybody has anything they feel that this is important. I met somebody in the market the other day, and I'm not ashamed to say this. She said, when we're talking about education and young people, she said, we also need to talk to teachers, because teachers also have their mental health issues. If they have their mental health issues, what are they now passing on to our children? How are they supporting our children? If a teacher is struggling with depression and anxiety, what are they giving that? How do they support children in school, in the classroom? So these are the things we want to explore a bit more in 2026. There are also things with dads. I met another dad, very open, so we're going to be looking at such topics about dads being real, especially from our community. So I'm excited about that.
So guys, you've heard it from her mouth herself. She needs more topics. What do you want to hear? What do you want us to speak about? What things are impacting you in your community right here, right now, that we could actually even potentially bring you on to speak about as one of the guests?
Yes.
So
that will be about doing more advocacy. We need to challenge the system. We need to come together. One of the biggest one is, how do we come together as a community? And that is one of the biggest things that we're going to be exploring in 2026.
Wonderful. So what are your aspirations for Echoes of Our Community in 2026?
It's about making sure that the community is stronger, it's tighter, it's more vocal, it's more supportive, it's not divided. It's less judgmental. You must have heard sometimes parents feel judged, young people feel judged. The one we had that even said, it's because our children their parents are not doing what they're supposed to do. That's why children are into knife crime and things like that. It might not necessarily be the case. So, and I think people will, if they feel less judged, they'll come out a bit more. So my aspiration is that let's build this together. Let's do things together. Let's be less patronizing. Let's listen more. And I think with that, we'll be able to build community, and we'll get people that need to hear, and we'll be able to grow. We'll be able to change. We'll be able to transform.
Yeah, I agree. How do you hope the podcast will contribute to community building and meaningful dialogue in 2026?
Well, just like I said before, Echoes of Our Community is about bringing those people that will want to tell their stories. It's not about just saying what people want to hear. It's about being real. And sometimes being real is like, I'm more vulnerable, I'm more open to people judging me. It doesn't really matter. I'm one of those people that I say things, my lived experience, and people might say, did she go through that? Yeah. But sometimes going through that makes me much more I don't want to use the word attractive, but like open to people wanting to come to me, wanting to tell their story, wanting to need that support, whether they have issues with immigration, whether they have issues with housing, domestic abuse. All these topics are very, very vital. So it's about being open, being truthful, being sincere, and so we can transform.
Yeah, and the reality is, lived experience that is shared always will attract those people that share that same lived experience, because undoubtedly, even if you haven't experienced it yourself, you would know somebody who has. So that's really inspirational. So before we end this interview, I have one last cheeky question. Who was your best interviewer?
Eliyo. Are you saying who? Because you interviewed me tonight?
That's right.
I've only had you, Eliyo. So what do I have a choice but to say? Thank you, Eliyo, for interviewing me tonight and for making it very nice. I hope I behaved well.
Oh, you behaved very well. And thank you. We want to just say thank you to you for your commitment, for your drive, for your love, for your passion and your vision through Echoes of our community, and through all the work that you've done throughout this year, 2025, through Parent Skills to Go, With My Child and Me, all the awards that you have won. They're too many to list.
Are they?
Are well-deserved. And all we can do and all I can say is that I pray God strengthens you.
Amen.
And greases your elbow even more to be even more impactful in 2026.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
That's a wrap for today. We had our interview with Margaret Taribo from Echoes of Our Community. Thank you.